I squat a lot. I love the barbell squat. I think it's one of the best exercises that you can do. And what's awesome about incorporating the barbell squat to your routine is that it translates to every sport that I can think of. I can sit here and think about all the sports in my head, whether it's powerlifting, Olympic lifting, basketball, football, cycling, sprinting, running, swimming. I can't think of a sport that doesn't benefit from heavy resistance, low bar squats. I think they're great. That being said, if all you're doing, like me, if I primarily just do barbell squats, and over the years I've developed some imbalances, and I've had to incorporate some accessories into my routine to help work those balances out and keep all the support muscles and the joint healthy. And that's what I'd like to show you today. Now, the beauty of these are that they are primarily body weight exercises. You don't need to buy any fancy equipment. I would suggest, though, if you don't have bands, order some. They're not that hard to get. They're not that expensive. I believe I got these off of Amazon for around $35 for a set of 3. It came with one heavy, one medium, and one light resistance band. And you can do a ton of stuff with these, and I'll show you a few of those accessories. Let's dive in. First and foremost, one thing that I work on a daily basis is mobility. So, especially with guys over 40, you'll notice that there's not too many people our age that can still get in a seated squat position and rest in a comfortably. There's no tension on my legs right now. I am, for all intents and purposes, sitting, and I could stay like this all day. That being said, see, it's still not the easiest for me. At first, it takes me a while to get everything going. But if you don't have that mobility, one of the challenges can be just getting into that position to begin with. So don't be afraid to get something that you can sit on where you can do seated squats, and you can do them from the seated position. Over time, you can start high, maybe find a chair that's, you can get into and you can just squat out of it. And over time, you can find lower and lower things to sit on until that day comes where you can remove your assistance and sit in that position. But I highly suggest that even if you're not working out, take a few minutes in the morning as part of your routine, or whenever it's convenient for you, and just get in this position. Work on that mobility. For a lot of people, ankles are tore up from years of construction work. A lot of guys have had knee injuries. I myself have had ACL reconstruction. I've had some knee problems. Some people have hip and back issues. If that's the problem, don't be afraid to use something to help support you. You can put your back against the wall and use the wall to brace yourself. Again, you can use something to sit on to get started, or you can hold on to something. And I always even if I'm just doing barbell squats, I'm gonna warm up. And I always start with just a set of body weight just to get everything going. And you can get wide, you can work the hips out, nothing to that. The first exercise I'm going to demonstrate is the Sissy Squad. This is by far the hardest of all the accessories I do. And if there's one that people with injuries are going to be, they're going to have a hard time with, it'll be this movement. And you'll see why here in a minute. It is the one that's hardest on the knees. And if they're not done correctly, it could cause a lot of discomfort and a lot of pain. But they're awesome for building the quads up. This is an old school bodybuilder movement. And essentially, I'm going to stand with my feet together and I'm going to hold something to support my weight. And I'm going to squat, but I'm going to come down over my toes. And I'm almost going to touch my knees to the ground. And I'm going to lean back. And it's all quad work. The reason I'm wearing the bike shorts is so you can see what the quads are doing. So, again, I'm coming over my toes and I'm almost touching my knees to the ground. And it just hammers your quads. You want to do these slow and you want to try to keep your weight over. So, the way to cheat on these, which will cut down on how effective they are, these guys will roll forward, and because it hurts too much, they're rolling back on their legs and pushing up. You're not really getting much out of that movement. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you keep your weight over the knees as much as possible, and you'll feel, just doing your body weight, your quads are gonna burn. For starters, if you've never done these, you might only get a couple. This one is probably the most advanced out of all the little accessory movements I do. And I would even suggest, if you're gonna incorporate these, get online and type Sissy Squats into YouTube and watch a couple videos on how the old timers do them. But if you're looking for a really awesome quad exercise that you can do with virtually no equipment, you don't even need weight. I mean, I can't even imagine if I put weight on this movement. Again, I'm keeping my weight over my knees. Ugh. And I'm just gonna almost touch my knees to the ground. I'm not helping myself up at all. All I'm doing is keeping my hands on the bar for stability. As you can see, I'm not assisting myself. It just hammers those quads. That's the Sissy Squad. Alright, you probably have seen those crazy YouTube videos where the guys are doing the one-legged pistol squats, and you know, they're super proficient at it and it looks awesome, and it's a really, really difficult squat to perform. It's impressive, it looks visually impressive, it requires a lot of balance. Is it that great of an exercise? No, I think if you're already doing barbell squats, it's pretty much a waste of time. But for anyone interested in incorporating them into your routine and then maybe getting to the point where you can show off to your friends and do a one-legged squat, there's an easier way to do it, and that's just simply holding on to something. You're gonna get your balance, and you're just gonna come down and you're gonna hold on to something, and it goes from being almost impossible to do to being relatively easy. That being said, the amount of pain and discomfort for what you're getting out of it doesn't, in my mind, really justify spending that much time on it unless you don't have equipment. If you've got a barbell, why would you do those? But if you don't have a barbell, now you've got a legitimate resistance movement that you can incorporate into your leg routine that will help you immensely, because you're essentially doubling your body weight on one limb. So think of it like doing one-arm push-ups. Great. Is it that great of a movement if you have an access to a gym? No. More for showing off. If you don't have equipment, yeah, why not? I mean, use whatever you can get. All right, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of the accessories that I want to show you guys, and the rest of them involve using bands. Now, you can, when it comes to resistance bands, essentially your imagination is your limitation. I mean, you could essentially use the bands to perform kind of a pseudo barbell squat in itself, and I'll show you an example of that. But what I wanted to mention to was how I have these bands tied off. I have them looped around my bench so that I can do stuff with them. And this is the light resistance, the blue band. The orange one is the medium resistance. And somewhere around here I have the heavy resistance. So I'm going to show you some of the accessories that I do with these bands. The adductors. I do a version of a reverse squat, almost a hamstring curl with them. They're easy, they're convenient, and it's equipment that you can readily get at almost any sporting goods store or online, Amazon, whatever your favorite outlet is for purchasing stuff like that. So let's get to it. The first one I'm going to show you is kind of a hamstring curl reverse squat movement. What I like to do is I like to loop the band around my ankle and then wrap it one time around my foot so it stays put, and I lie flat, and quite simply I pull my ankle and my knee up. And you can increase resistance by scooting back. What's cool about these is you can bring the hips out and it just works everything. It really hits your hamstrings hard. It's good for opening up the joint. You think about it, we're doing most of our movements with weight on our joints, and this is taking tension off of it. It's great for opening the hips up. I can really feel the burn in here. Easy enough. One of the most neglected is your abductors and your adductors. And to take care of those, real simple, similar concept. I just loop the band around my foot and I practice just doing sets. I kick straight out. For the opposite, I pull in. And then turn around and do the other side. Simple. These are a lifesaver. Most people don't do these. If you don't have a barbell and you actually want to do some squats, but you have some bands, you can loop these up and you can do squats this way, spread them out. You can even do squat presses with these. So there's a lot you can do with these bands. key with these is to make sure you're squeezing at the end. So there you go, guys. There's some accessories that you can throw in your routine. Hopefully that helps you stay a little more well-rounded, decrease your chances of getting injured. Add a little joint love in there. Get those big popping quads and those little wiry calves. You know, if you find that this video helped, I don't know, throw me a like, share it, maybe recommend it to a friend. Not too many people are watching these. I'm going to continue to keep making them. I found that they are pretty beneficial to me because by me trying to teach this stuff, I've noticed a few bad habits that I've picked up from training alone. So for just that reason, I'm finding these immensely beneficial. And I work nights. I'm up all night. Everybody's in bed. Gives me something to do. Keeps me out of trouble. So anyway, hope this helped.